All right, guys, we're back here in the shop. We're over here at the belt disc sander, and I want to show you the correct way to get this machine ready to use and to set it up for operation. So the first thing that we want to do with any machine is we want to make sure that it is clean. So I'm going to grab my air hose, and we have one that lives right behind us at the large bandsaw, and I'm going to clean the machine off. And then when I'm finished, I'm going to return the air hose to its hook. I'm not going to just drop it on the ground. Much of the sanding that you do here at the stationary sander is going to take place with the table adjusted square to the abrasive, whether it's the belt or the disc. And so we need to look at how to make that adjustment using our square tool to set this at a perfect 90-degree angle. Now, even though you're about to see how to set this to a 90-degree angle, you could use any angle for your sanding operations. So if there is a specific angle we need to achieve, we can use a tool like our T-bevel to consistently set this to the proper angle. But for now, let's take a look at how to set it to a square 90-degree angle. So here we are at the belt sander, and we're going to take a look at how to adjust the table relative to the abrasive surface. Most of the sanding you do in this class, we're going to want a perfect 90-degree angle between these two surfaces. So I'm going to grab the square off the side of the machine, and if I set this on here, we can see that this table is far out of square. When I hold the blade of the square up tight against the belt, you can see the gap here. So this table needs to be raised up. So to do that, I'm going to reach on the right-hand side. I'm going to loosen this handle, and that frees up the table to be adjusted. And as I do this, I'm going to support the table with my left hand, and I'm going to hold the square tight against the belt with my right, and I'm going to raise the table up until it's snug with the bottom of the square. Then I'm going to hold the table right there, and I'm going to push the lock handle down. And now, when I hold this tight, you can see that we don't have any movement in either direction. So this table is now square against the belt. When we look at the disc sander, it's a similar process, but it's more difficult to adjust this table because of the mechanism that the table pivots on. So generally, with this machine, we're going to leave this at 90 degrees. We're not going to do any work here on the disc sander if we need to change the angle. We'll do that work over on the belt that's a little bit easier to adjust. However, you still want to double check and make sure that this is square. And I'll show you how this process works. You can see that I'm out of square a little bit. So on the left side, right down here under the table, and on the right side in the same spot, there are a pair of knobs, and I need to loosen both of those in order for this table to move. Now, like I said, the adjustment on this table is not quite as smooth and easy as the adjustment on the belt sander. So I've got to loosen those up and get the brackets to let go. Just pull out on those a little bit. You can see that you've got it's a little bit of a wrestling match with this thing. So now I'm using my leg to hold the table up. And I'm going to tighten this down. And I'm going to tighten down the other side. There we go. And now that is nice and square right there. The next adjustment that you'll need to make on this machine is adjusting the belt so that it runs centered on the platen. And again, the platen is this steel surface behind. It's a nice flat surface that gives us a good sanding result. To make this change, I've got to use the knob on the right and the handle on the left. And you'll notice right now this belt is tight. If I push this handle back, you can see that the belt is now loose. So it's a combination of the tension applied by the handle on the left and the adjustment knob on the right that allows us to move this belt back and forth on the platen. In order to make this adjustment, this is an exception to the rule. The dust collector has to be turned on and the power to the machine has to be turned on. Because you can see when I change this with the machine off, nothing happens. But when I do this with the machine running, you'll see that I can easily move this back and forth to get the belt centered on the platen. So let's take a look at that. So now with the dust collector turned on, you can probably hear it in the background a little bit. I'm going to switch on the machine and show you how we can make this adjustment. You can see the belt is tracking all the way to the left. So what I'm going to do is pull tension on the handle and then adjust the knob on the right-hand side. And as I adjust the knob and pull tension on the handle, you can see the belt moving to the right. And I'm just making small adjustments to get this so that it's tracking down the center of the platen. So now this is adjusted and it's ready for me to go ahead and do my sanding.
And those are the steps that you will need to follow to get the sander set up for operation.